Hi everyone. Welcome to today's webinar and live demo, What a Recruitment Marketing Platform Can Do For You. My name is Allison Schaff. I'm on the marketing team here at SmashFly, and I'll be your host for today. Before we dive in, I wanted to mention that we'll be holding a Q&A at the end of the presentation, so I encourage you to submit any questions you might have using the chat feature. We'll try to get to as many as we can before our time together comes to an end. If you experience any technical difficulties with ReadyTalk today, please contact ReadyTalk support at 1-800-843-9166. I'll be pasting this number into the chat window for your reference. Now I'll introduce our speakers for today. Debbie Tuel is a recruitment marketing expert and regional sales manager here at SmashFly, where she empowers talent acquisition teams to execute on powerful recruitment marketing strategies that lead to deeper insights, smarter spending, and better hires. Ben Thompson is a senior solutions consultant at SmashFly, where his unmatched expertise and deep technical mastery of SmashFly's total recruitment marketing platform helps him educate organizations looking to attract, engage, and manage talent through innovative technology. In today's webinar, we're going to cover macro trends in the labor market driving the adoption of recruitment marketing, how a recruitment marketing platform solves for the challenges your team is facing today, the biggest benefits of recruitment marketing technology, and of course, a live demo of the SmashFly platform. So now, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Debbie. Debbie?
Thank you, Allie, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Ben and I are honored and excited to discuss with you some major transformations that we're seeing taking place in recruiting. We're starting to see that talent acquisition functions are merging best-in-class marketing techniques and technology with recruitment practices that drive more quality leads through the top of the funnel, giving us a new discipline, recruitment marketing. You might be asking yourself, though, I keep hearing the term recruitment marketing. What is recruitment marketing? And that includes content marketing, email nurturing, social recruiting, mobile recruiting, career site, SEO, employer referrals, talent networks, job marketing, employment branding, recruiting events, recruiting analytics, CRM, a multitude of tactics that you're using to brand yourself, to find, attract, engage, and nurture talent. And a recruitment marketing platform is a centralized management system that automates and measures every one of those tactics. Now this is pretty exciting for SmashFly, as we've been advocating for this type of transformation for the better part of 10 years. And today you'll see an emergence of roles that did not exist 3 years ago. Maybe many of you hold them: recruitment marketing specialist, employment brand leader, candidate experience manager, and so many more. Along with adding new skills to the talent acquisition space, Aptitude Research shared that 70% of organizations are also looking to invest in the technology to support them. Now let's take a step back as to why those new roles and strategies and technologies are essential. The world and the way in which we interact has changed dramatically, and the organizations that quickly adapt will win. Now, when considering the the implications of not adapting, consider the fact that just over half of the names on the company's Fortune 500 list have disappeared since the year 2000. It's pretty staggering. If your team found it hard to meet demands in 2016, it's going to get even harder in 2017 and beyond, because a number of macro trends that are intersecting and changing the nature of work. We're seeing that nearly 10,000 baby boomers leave the workforce daily. That's pretty unprecedented, and it takes experienced talent out of the workforce that your team is trying to fill. In addition, people are self-selecting out of the transitional workforce with the growth of the gig economy. We're also seeing the skills gap grow in certain sectors, with only 4 million job openings and yet 10 million still unemployed. The bottom line is that finding talent is already hard enough, and our supply is continuing to shrink. It's not just the supply that's shrinking though. The demand at the same time is increasing. Employees, especially millennials, are harder to retain. 50% of people recruited into an organization leave within 2 years, which leaves you filling those jobs more frequently than you had in the past. Organizations are increasingly adapting to survive, requiring you to recruit new talent and new skill sets. And candidates' expectations have changed. They care about organizations' culture first and the job second. And they research company brands intensely when making this decision. They expect a better experience when exploring employers. And all of these factors are widening the talent gap that exists today. In fact, from our calculations, based on research from Forrester, Gartner, and others, it will take at least 3 times the amount of time, resources, and budget just to maintain the same talent acquisition results you have today. And in a time where talent acquisition is asked to do more with less, that status quo will not scale to meet today's and tomorrow's talent demands. When we think about the old strategies or the status quo and what you're probably employing within some of your organizations today, it probably looks similar to this. It's a bit reactive, which means you typically scramble to fill every new requisition or opening. And that makes it impossible for candidates who are looking to work for a good culture or brand, which we all know is essential, to understand who you are and why you're different. It's also transactional, with everything evolving around the ATS and driving those candidates to apply. The problem with that strategy is it centers around process and not experience for the candidates. And these processes are built for just-in-time recruiting. You get a rec, you start the process, you hopefully fill the job, and then you start all over again. And it's also a bit of guesswork because you don't have the systems in place to measure the full candidate funnel. You end up with disjointed, incomplete data that does very little to help you make more informed decisions. Sound familiar? So the question is, how do we evolve? How do we move away from this reactive, transactional guesswork process? Well, don't worry. We're not going to be all doom and gloom today. The good news is there is a better way, and you're already taking the first step by joining us on this call today. We, as a talent acquisition function, need to start implementing strategies that are focused on key pillars like brand-led, ensuring that your brand is consistent and your experience drives candidates to the next interaction. That it's relationship-based, building relationships earlier in the process, and building those relationships that we can cultivate over time, that we can own, and that we can control. And that it's data-driven, to truly know what's working and not working to the goals that you have set for the team and the organization. So let's talk about how we build a strategy and a modern candidate experience that's brand-led, relationship-based, and data-driven. First, it's about expanding your reach of your employment brand and ensuring that every step of the candidate journey, you provide a consistent, branded, and value-oriented candidate experience from every interaction. It's not just about your career site, but how you engage from the first touch all the way through to the last piece, for every channel to email campaigns and custom content and landing pages. It's about providing an experience that delights the candidate and encourages them to continue to engage with your brand and learn more about your culture. Now, that brand consistency is integral to attracting more quality talent. But now, how do we build and nurture those relationships earlier in the candidate's journey? It starts with having the capability to capture candidate information across any channel at any point in that journey. Because not everybody is ready to apply. They want to go do their research. They want to see if they've got friends in their network that can refer them in. They want to update their resume. Whatever it may be, they're not ready to apply, and you need to give them another option. They want to know about you as an employer. They're willing to give you a little bit of information. Let's capture that information and start to serve them with relevant content and start to create candidates for life. And that means nurturing and maintaining those relationships over time. Whether they're a new lead for you, a silver medalist, an employee, it doesn't matter. At every step, that candidate is somebody that could be a potential employee for your organization. And serving them personalized content is key. Now, for most organizations, they're already executing a lot of these interactions that I just talked about on a daily basis. But they're doing so in a piecemeal fashion or through various tools or maybe even manually. So this kind of technology landscape may be something you're familiar with within your organization. You might be using Broadbean or eQuest for job marketing, or TMP Talent Brew or Phenom People for your career site, or Avature for your CRM, maybe Yellow for your events, or RollPoint for employer referral. You get the point. There's a lot of technology on the market. But all of these disparate systems leave you with disjointed data, little insight, and uneducated decision making that leads to zero improvement over time. That's where SmashFly is uniquely positioned to deliver this level of insight, because everything, your CRM, your career site, your sourcing efforts, your event marketing, your job distribution, it's all connected, consistent, and measured in one place. And we deliver this level of insight for customers like GE, PwC, Intel, Lockheed Martin, Nestle Purina, and so many more. With SmashFly's recruitment marketing platform, rather than pulling information from multiple systems, or worse, dealing with spreadsheets, this approach gives our customers an integrated view to all of their campaigns and tactics. This allows them to see things like which channels are driving my highest conversion, or which investments have the greatest impact on building quality pipeline, or how many talent network opt-ins did I get at my last college recruiting event, or how many of those converted into qualified candidates and ultimately hires within my organization. Collectively, this allows you to become more proactive and precise about where and how you invest your time. And it allows you to grow an audience of engaged candidates that are more in tune with your brand and more open to your opportunities. And this can create an enormous competitive advantage when the rest of the employer market is stuck doing the same things that they've always done. So enough talking about conceptually what a recruitment marketing platform can do for you. Let's take it and see it in action. Ben, I'll let you take it from here to kind of bring this to life with the platform.
Perfect. Thank you, Debbie. And as Debbie mentioned, when we think of those candidates, not only all that great data we're tracking, but every candidate's going to interact differently, whether it's the active candidate doing job searches throughout the day. Maybe it's the sourced candidate that's passive that you're trying to steal from a talent competitor. So we want to think from that holistic approach of how we can touch all these individuals. Let's take a look at what a couple of those different paths may look like. So if we start thinking about those paths, one of the obvious might be that active or semi-passive seeker who's not too happy with their current opportunity, but taking a look around. Well, when we think of candidates today, only about 20 to 25% already have an employer of choice in mind. The vast majority are going to a job board. Maybe it's Google or another search engine, an aggregate like Indeed, or the more traditional sites these days like a Glassdoor or LinkedIn. But they're doing a search based on function, maybe what they think that job title will be, and then also the location, where you might have sponsored opportunities here. But more importantly, you're going to be one of dozens of organizations fighting for space and, more importantly, fighting for that talent. Now, looking at systems engineer, something probably every organization's looking for these days. Maybe I take a look at Destination XL. Looks like a decent opportunity, so let's just take a look at that, what that looks like from an organizational standpoint. Now, it's driving me right into the applicant tracking system, as we can see here, where we don't even get a logo or any other branding of that organization. If I'm one of 20 organizations, how am I selling my story, differentiating me from all the other competitors that are out there? And let's be honest, every organization has their own story to tell. When somebody asks you what you do for a living, you probably get pretty excited to tell them not only what you do, but where you do it. Don't you think your job description should be the same way? More importantly, if we start looking at this, beyond the lack of branding and the lack of differentiation, we only have one main call to action. Yeah, we could email a friend, but as the individual, as a potential candidate, I only have that capability to apply. And as Debbie mentioned, that leads to huge drop-off, costing you a lot of opportunity cost of high-quality candidates gone, and a lot of additional real cost in paid media to re-engage. So let's take that a little differently. I didn't like Destination XL. Let's take a look at Thermo Fisher. Now, as the job loads, we can see it's a very different experience. It's going to be optimized for the search engines and aggregates. We can see branding and messaging to catch that eye and sell that opportunity with that same job description. Your recruiters don't have to do any extra work. It's automatically coming into the system dynamically with those headers and other information to turn each job into a marketing landing page. Yes, we can apply now, and that is the ultimate goal, but if I'm not ready, now I can say, you know what, I'm at my current job, because the prime time people are looking for opportunities is actually right now, Tuesdays during lunchtime, when their boss might be looking over their shoulder, or they don't have that time to put in and update their resume because they now view you as an employer of choice. So if I'm not ready to apply, I can drop off some information. That way you can re-engage me later. Reminder emails can be triggered. Or just by me filling out that form, we can now start workflows and automation. Yes, we could file this individual to that technology list. But more importantly, now we can send them a welcome email, fully branded, engaging them, saying, Debbie, ready for your next career? Right in that subject line. And then giving them a dynamic email, fully branded that your team could update. More importantly, though, than just filing them to a list or engaging them with a welcome email, you can actually assign a task. Somebody on your phone screen, if they met all the right credentials, could now go in and do a phone screen from a recruiter. All that just by her coming in and filling out this form. All this activity can generate and now send her that thank you email. She wasn't ready to apply. She hasn't jumped in yet, but a day or two later she gets this thank you email. Decides to re-engage. I'm going to do some research. Might as well go to Glassdoor and learn a little bit more about Thermo Fisher. What's great is now I can look at reviews, other information. With the great intelligence-driven job marketing engine by SmashFly, we can now promote opportunities, whether it's here on Glassdoor or dynamically on Indeed-sponsored, LinkedIn, or thousands of other places, including aggregates and social boards. But most importantly, the job marketing is going to be done dynamically to get the right jobs in front of the right people, all with your recruiter just having to post that job in the applicant tracking system. But as I go and do this, I decide, you know what? Thermo is the place for me. Let's go back to their website. And as we get to their homepage, again, powered by SmashFly, gives them the opportunity to continue that messaging, continue that conversation with the candidate, engaging them with the opportunity, providing a job search, or even knowing Thermo Fisher loves to really highlight what employees are doing both in and outside the organization, now they can tell their stories. Because with SmashFly, you get an unlimited amount of landing pages, no nickel and diming, and it's a self-service tool because we want to empower your team to continue telling that story on an ongoing basis. Or maybe it's a new event you're going to or a diversity campaign. We want you to be able to build out these pages, just like Thermo Fisher does here, to tell their story. Completely responsive, so regardless of what device people are coming in from, they can engage with that content. But more importantly, the team, whenever there's a new story, can not only have that page dynamically updated housing all the stories, but now they can go to this dynamic landing page for one story where they've added a video, all without any technical ability. That's now allowed me to go do a job search because I'm bought in, and now I'm going to apply for that opportunity. Now we can think there could be 3, 4 other different pieces of information, maybe email marketing just by joining that list and getting technology communications on a monthly basis. But more importantly, we're going to give you all that information at that contact profile. If I scrolled all the way back, we could see everything in a chronological order of the first interaction that candidate had with the system. All the other activity they had just by filling out that form. We can even go in and get feedback requests from the team. Get a green yes or a red no if the hiring manager or another individual is interested, which can also be automated through workflow, so we're not only tied to engaging that candidate, but creating efficiencies across your team and highlighting your process and the metrics. Again, that activity is robust. Email campaigns, nurturing, job invites, all the different jobs she's potentially looking at. Because if we go into the list area, now I can see the different jobs she's looking at, or with our deep integration with the ATS, I can see she's actually finished an application for this staff engineering role, or overall she's at the ATS interview stage. We can even follow that whether it's a contact list like diversity, technology, engineering, or potential events she may go to as well. What we really want to do with SmashFly is create this living and breathing profile, though, so you can see activity across users, whether it's a feedback, somebody doing a phone screen, maybe pre-applicant assessments, so that way it's housed all at the individual profile level. Great for those active candidates, but that's just one way people might be getting into the system. We also want to think a little deeper. What are the other possibilities we may have for bringing people into the system? Active community is great, but a lot of times we're going to want to source those high-quality individuals that may not necessarily be looking for an opportunity now. So what we want to do is start sourcing, actively looking. Yeah, we may want to gather individuals through those opt-ins, but as any true sourcer knows, if we want to be high quality at our job, we need to be hunters. So how can SmashFly enable you to go out and hunt for that talent? Well, right from the dashboard, we're going to create efficiencies for you because it's configurable to each individual user so you can focus on your needs or your individual pipelines. Seeing again that integration with the ATS, whether somebody in the pipeline is active by finishing an application, maybe hired, or other statuses you have. Or I can go right into my list and individuals to start engaging. But if I'm a sourcer, I'm going to do some deep engagement at the contact level. Now I could show you all the different ways to bring talent in for maybe importing resumes and spreadsheets, very simple and basic, to maybe leveraging third-party resume databases, whether it's CareerBuilder or Monster, for that technical talent, a Talent Bin or an Intello. But more importantly is the ease of use. Anybody sourcing with their ATS knows how difficult that can be. So now we can start going into our talent. Maybe it's engineers or maybe it's DevOps engineers. But more importantly, knowing all that talent you're going to drive on a daily basis, now you can filter down to that talent. We were just looking at Shannon. Maybe we care about the marketing campaigns or events she's a part of, the job she's looking at. We can see all that before even going into her profile. Or maybe we could do a full Boolean search. I'll do keyword for expediency's sake and not to embarrass myself in front of such a large audience. But you can see that quickly now we can narrow it down to just people in the DevOps list with Java on the resume. I can say, you know what, maybe we've interviewed some silver medalists before. We want to re-engage them because we just didn't have enough openings at the time. That fast, I can narrow my talent down, start going into these individuals, and potentially start marketing to them as well. But it's not always about the people you have in your network. Maybe you're out looking for talent. You're out on LinkedIn, and you decide, I found some good people. Maybe Josh is somebody I want to look at. Well, I can just highlight all Josh's information. Now, if I'm a LinkedIn recruiter with a license, I could save this to a project as well and then later import it into the system. Great way to do that as well, but some people want that immediate gratification. Well, now I can just highlight what's relevant, click our handy little quick link called Grab It, and what's great is Grab It is going to allow me to select my database, which is a great opportunity if you want to segment talent. We'll stick with this one for today, and as soon as I click Grab It, just like with any resume being uploaded, it's going to parse out all that great rich information into their profile. And you're going to see dynamically, not only is it going to give you the name, the location they work for, but it'll give you their LinkedIn URL, a resume. If we scroll down, we'll see email and phone numbers. And if we go all the way down, we can see that experience dynamically coming in. That fast, you can now have sourced a candidate and brought them into the system. Except wait, that candidate already exists in the system. So now I can go to his profile and see what other users might have said. In fact, we can go in and now see that he's actually a referral. So I can scroll down and see who was the referral, who's done a phone screen, and I can reach out to them directly and get more information. That fast, not only can you source somebody or workflow start automating the communications, but you can know who to engage with internally or start that process to get the phone screens and interviews provided. That's what the goal of SmashFly is. Not only to be that holistic marketing platform, but be able to go in, source talent, be able to even find them and engage them directly through a simple marketing campaign, maybe around events or a specific job you want them to apply for. But more importantly with the SmashFly system is it's very intuitive. Whether it's an email here, a landing page, a job description where you want to add that Glassdoor review, maybe a video because you have complete ownership over that content, it's as simple as editing or creating a Word document. If you can create and edit a Word document, that's how fast you could start updating content and getting information out to candidates, nurturing, engaging, and converting them down the line. But don't take my word for it. Look at a couple examples done by Nestle. Dynamically built by somebody on their team, we can see that it's optimized regardless of the device, bringing in latest opportunities, videos to engage with people, stories of employees. And this is something they can generate, and not only generate and send to the target audience, but track very granularly. Whether it was at that contact level that we talked about, or kind of flipping the other way, maybe it's to that individual rec number. Where now we're looking at one individual rec, as Debbie highlighted earlier with her screenshot, but we're comparing all sources of influence in an apples-to-apples fashion, whether it's Indeed organic, Monster paid, maybe referrals, to sourcing your team's doing on LinkedIn, to even universal tracking links or emails that you may have offline. Since we can do that intelligence-based job marketing we talked about, for any of that paid media, we can now discern cost per post, cost per application, helping get you on your way to really understand those KPIs and the costs you're spending on each opportunity or each function. With that deep integration with the ATS, we bring this information in dynamically, including drop-off and conversion rates. Now, this report's great for a recruiter, and we can even bring wanted analytics in for some information about labor pool and talent neuron capabilities to understand that talent supply. But this is only at the recruiter level, and the contact information may only have been great at the sourcer level. We also, for all you talent acquisition leads, want to make sure you can see information across the entire organization. Whether it's the reports you see here that are going to be in a dynamic visual fashion, easily providing you those insights, or a lot of other reports that we're migrating over to these visuals, but will tell you that complete story. Not just website usage and clicks to apply, but completed applications, referral campaigns, marketing activities. And again, with that deep integration with the ATS, we're going to give you that full funnel perspective of how your talent acquisition strategy is working. Yes, you have deep filtering capabilities, where right now we're looking across the entire strategy, but we could get all the way down to an individual rec number, maybe function or location level, especially for those global organizations. We could even highlight how the internal process is going by delineating down to one specific hiring manager and a mixture of all the above, depending how granular you want it to get. Now, we do give you that capability to get the raw data if you want, but we know you don't want to focus on numbers and just looking around, so our real objective is to give you those insights quickly, so you're focused on the actionable items to constantly update your strategy. Or maybe you have a contract coming up, career builders coming in next month for a review. In the past, we've always relied on their metrics, saying they're number one. Well, now we can go in and see they've generated 0 hires. Big red flag. We can even see how many contacts are in the system. So now we can go in with a lot better reinforcements when we want to negotiate that contract and make the best budgeting decisions for us overall. But it's not just tied to hiring. Maybe it's looking at user activity on your team. Yeah, you could use it for accountability purposes, but to me that could seem negative. To me it's more about knowledge sharing. Who's doing a great job with email campaigns and converting talent? Who's doing a better job selling their opportunities to people? How can we share that knowledge across the team so everybody's following best practices? Or as Debbie mentioned, there's about 10, 15 different sites a candidate may interact with. Well, what if you could watch that entire flow from beginning to end? What's creating that initial interaction? What's closing the deal? Maybe we're not finding Glassdoor at the beginning or end, but we find it only in the middle. Well, that's going to tell you that the job slots aren't driving traffic, but everyone's going there for review purposes. So potentially you cut your budget towards job slots and you start making more internal marketing conditions to get people to share reviews and other information. These are just a couple of the reports that we can provide by being that holistic recruitment marketing solution for you. And that's only following a couple paths. We could always go deeper, but hopefully this gave you a little insight to how the platform operates and, more importantly, how it can work for you. And Debbie, I'll hand that back to you.
Thank you, Ben. And we've got some great questions in the chat window. So quick reminder, we've got about 12 minutes left here. Want to make sure that we make the most of it. So if you've got any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat window so we can get to them. So you guys just got a sneak peek into SmashFly, one of the most innovative and inclusive recruitment marketing platforms on the market. All right, I get it. I might be a little biased. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention that there are more HR technology solutions on the market today than there ever have been before. And that's led to a lot of buyer confusion. I'm sure some of you on the phone today are on the phone because you are confused. And so it's important to kind of remember where we started the conversation today when you're looking at new technology providers. It's not just the technology. It starts with your strategy. And then find the technology partner that can help you put that strategy to work. You know, if you talk to our customers, I think you will find that the benefit that they find in partnering with somebody like SmashFly is that our team was built to help them ease into recruitment marketing and scale over time. And we've been advocating in this space for nearly 10 years, and some analysts even claim that we created it. Well, I personally can't take credit for that. I've only been with the organization for a little over 2 years, but it is certainly why I came here. You know, SmashFly gets that technology is important, but the right partner matters more. And it's finding that strategic partner that's going to be key to your success in moving the recruitment marketing discipline forward within your company. So today we gave you some broad stroke views into SmashFly. If you are focused on improving your candidate experience or increasing awareness of your employment brand, attracting more quality candidates, moving from kind of just-in-time hiring to pipeline building, building a strategic center of excellence for sourcing, or streamlining technology, unlocking siloed data to drive more insights into what's actually working and what's not, engaging with past applicants, internal employees, or alumni, improving your employee referral program, boosting diversity, military, campus, and recruiting programs, or managing job fairs and recruiting events. Those are just some of the examples of where we are helping our customers evolve and kind of start with getting their feet wet in recruitment marketing and then expanding to areas they never thought that they would be able to. So if those are initiatives that you see your organization facing today, please reach out to us. Go to our website, smashfly.com, and fill out a demo request. We'll get back to you. Feel free, look me up on LinkedIn, ping me, email me directly. I'll get you in touch with the right person. We'd love to explore what your future might look like and how SmashFly can help you get there. So thank you everyone for joining us. Excited to start the conversation around recruitment marketing and recruitment marketing platforms. And from here, I'll hand it over to Allie to answer any questions that you might have.
All right. Debbie, Ben, thank you so much. That was fantastic, and I really enjoyed listening to you both. So thank you so much for joining us today. A couple of questions rolled in during the presentation, so let's get to those. Our first question here is, what is the difference between an RMP, a recruitment marketing platform, and a CRM? And actually, this kind of ties into another question we got too, which is, does this integrate with an ATS or replace an ATS, and does this integrate with an HRIS system? So Debbie, I don't know if you want to just kind of give a general overview of how a recruitment marketing platform kind of factors into the full technology stack for TA.
Yes, that is a great question. I think each of those I will tackle separately. So let's start on, does this replace the ATS? Absolutely not. Maybe some little history for those joining the call today. Our CEO and our founder, Mike Hennessy, was the lead architect for the original brass ring system, so pre-acquisition by Connexa and ultimately IBM. He understood that the ATS was built for compliance. It was built to take an application through your internal processes to get them to hire in a way that keeps you compliant. And that is very, very important. However, all of the trends in technology that have happened in the last 5-10 years have really been before you ever get that person to apply. And so you saw kind of that collage of technology that people have been bolting onto their ATS over the last several years. That's really where SmashFly fits into the technology stack. It sits on top of your ATS. It integrates with your ATS. And it really serves a different audience. It serves your leads. It serves those who are interested in working for your brand but haven't applied to a job yet, or maybe they applied to your job and they didn't get it, but you still want them for the next job. Or maybe they're already an internal employee, but they're thinking about what's their next move, and you rather keep them at your organization and market to them about other opportunities and career paths than let them go somewhere else. So it's really about how do you market your open opportunities to those who have not taken action and applied to a job yet. So hopefully that helps from a technology stack perspective. So it does not replace the ATS, it complements it, it sits on top. It is different from a CRM. The CRM, as you saw, is the catalyst for a recruitment marketing platform. It is where you house all of those leads that you're capturing so that you can market to them. The challenge is that a CRM by itself, so I'm in sales, I have a CRM, Salesforce. I am not that good at going out and finding new leads and putting it in there. So if you fill out a demo request, I'm a lot happier with that. I'm going to call you. I know you're interested and you want to learn more about SmashFly. It's a lot harder for me to go out and do that work myself. Same concept with a CRM for recruiting. Warm leads, people who have raised their hand and said, I am interested in your brand, are a lot easier to convert. They're still passive. They have not applied to a job, but they've said, I'm interested. And so when a CRM is tied into your overall recruitment marketing strategy, it makes it that much more impactful. It gives you the gas to fuel your engine. Otherwise, you're just sitting with a car that doesn't go anywhere. So CRM, integral to a recruitment marketing platform. However, it is just one piece that needs to be fueled by all of the other tactics of how you are driving awareness for your brand. And then the third question, integrating with an HRIS. We just rolled out internal mobility, actually in the fourth quarter of 2016. With internal mobility, it was key for us to be able to pull in our customers' internal employee populations into SmashFly. So we do have a level of integration with the HRIS, and we'd be more than happy to talk to you a little bit further. The purposes of that integration for us are the ability for you to market to your internal populations.
Awesome. Great answers, Debbie. Thank you. Another question is this compatible with PeopleSoft? And
great question. So we are ATS agnostic. There are definitely some ATSs where we have current customers on, and there are some that we don't. PeopleSoft is one that we do have current customers on. So Black Hills Corporation, AARP, Century Insurance, we are definitely compatible with PeopleSoft. If you are on PeopleSoft, whoever asked that question, you know that there are limitations of PeopleSoft. For instance, they do not accept source codes. So it makes it a little bit more challenging. You are going to see some differentiators in the way that we integrate with PeopleSoft versus other systems. Reach out. We'd be happy to share with you what those differences are.
Awesome. And our last question, unless any more have rolled in. So we have, how do I get started with recruitment marketing? If I'm at an organization that's maybe not currently investing in these kinds of initiatives, they're just sort of like further down the pipe right now, how do I get started with that? Like, what's the first step for me?
It's a great question. I think a question that we get pretty frequently, where do I start? And I think the first place to start is really thinking about, am I doing a good job of capturing people earlier in the process? And I'll give you a perfect example, Cheesecake Factory. One of the first places that we started, they didn't have a robust team to manage SmashFly. They were new to recruitment marketing. So we really started with, hey, let's just simply capture the drop-off that you get on your career site. So share a quick stat with you. Across SmashFly customers, we see about a 74% drop-off of people who see a job but don't finish that application. Most of that drop-off is right after they've read that job description and before they start a profile within your ATS. And I shared some of those reasons earlier on today. They're not ready. They want to update their resume. They want to reach into their network and see if they know somebody. We've all been there. You think about when you're buying product. I'm a big Amazon user, but I also use other sites. And if I go into a store and I see a product, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to pull up my phone and I'm going to read reviews. Then I'm going to price shop. Can I get it somewhere cheaper? Hey, what's the easiest way that I'm going to be able to get this delivered? Should I just go ahead and buy it now, or should I have it delivered to my home? Those are all things that you take into consideration. And they're taking those same things into consideration when they're applying to your job. With SmashFly, we're able to capture about 80% of that drop-off. And we know, because of those deep integrations to the ATS that Ben talked about, if they finished that application or not. So it's Cheesecake by simply inserting that form, capturing the drop-off, and then setting a workflow reminder that 24 hours, send them a reminder to come back and apply to the job. 78 hours after that, if they still haven't applied to the job, send them more content and remind them to come back and apply to the job. Those two reminders alone accounted for nearly 20% of their hires in 2015. That's a simple way to get started with recruitment marketing that can be automated, that needs no extra heavy lifting from your team, and if you have the right technology in place, can do it for you.
Wonderful. I love that story about Cheesecake. I think that's a fabulous illustration of just the power of recruitment marketing technology and how it can really help your team get more done without even lifting a finger. So, Debbie, thank you so much for your informative answers. We are out of time for today, unfortunately. I saw a couple more questions come in, but don't worry, we can take those and we are able to, we can reach out to you directly to follow up with the rest of you who answered questions. So thank you so much, everyone who joined us for the call today. It was wonderful to have you all on. We really appreciate your interest. And again, as Debbie said, we'd love to have you submit a demo request. If you're interested, we'd love to customize a demo for you. So thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. And Debbie and Ben, thank you again so much for joining us.
Thank you, Allie.